Well, as this video going up, we are 6 days away from XDefiant officially shutting down on June 3rd. Unfortunately, as usual, Ubisoft is not budging on keeping this game alive. I mean, there's nothing to be alive at this point. All the devs are gone. Mark Rubin is pretty much posting here and there, but there's really there's not even a skeleton crew. It's just legit just the servers struggling for their lives, and then eventually probably the janitor walks in and just unplugs the servers on June 3rd, and that's pretty much it. XDefiant's gone. So, for the time being, I figured I'd just, stream this game on Twitch. If anyone want to follow me there, it's twitch.tv/dubaderp, or basically the same name as here. If you want to follow and join and, just watch whatever gameplay, because I'm going to be posting basically every time I stream on there. I'm also going to be recording all my sessions. I'm going to break them down and then eventually just post them onto this channel. But yeah, I'm really going to miss this game because it was pretty much the one game that I was actually enjoying. The one game that I put so much effort into that I pretty much have the stamp of me being an Ubisoft partner for the rest of my life. This game's going to be gone, but for the rest of, until I piss them off at least, for the rest of my life, I'm going to end up having all these opportunities with Ubisoft regarding their games. And trust me, it's happened regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows. What else? Division 2. I think that's how I also get the Star Wars Outlaws and all that. But like I said, my main focus to even be an Ubisoft partner was specifically for XDefiant. That's where all my passion went. And yeah, it sucks that within 6 months they pretty much just decided to just shelve the game. And one of the things that I wanted, like the most bragging rights thing, because I was making content like crazy. I was streaming it. I was doing everything to basically stick out, all because I wanted to have the bragging rights of having my own creator code. But unfortunately, that never happened and will never happen because, like I said, June 3rd, servers shut down. And yeah, I mean, here's hoping too that they basically, the devs that did work on this, if they kind of pull a, studio Sandfall, the fact that Ubisoft devs, ex-Ubisoft devs, made Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and now you can kind of see that, ironically enough, within 33 days, they've sold 3.3 million copies. So, yeah, basically, I would say moving forward, if any XDefiant devs come across this video, that's probably your sign that once this game is shelved, don't worry. There are I'm actually part of a Discord group that's I think called X Archive or something, and that's pretty much why I'm streaming this game too, is to kind of help archive footage of this game before its inevitable shutdown. But overall, I just think it's kind of dumb that they're gonna just shut everything down, and it's honestly just one of those things. It irks me so much that a game like this. And there's like a lot of people that are, to this day, there are people that are just going to be like, yeah, this game wasn't going to stand a chance, or because it had these problems, it had this and that. Like, basically, they weren't just given a few months, rushing out a game that wasn't even complete. So pretty much we had like the skeleton of the game when it first came out, and they were just basically building onto it. But there are people that are, to this day, are just saying that the game was doomed to fail because it didn't come out fully polished and everything like that. Even though realistically the game would have just done fine, because if Ubisoft had just been a little patient, they did it so quickly too, because we were like, we were getting ready for season 3 of XDefiant, to where the Assassin's Creed faction was going to be dropping in. We were that close to basically get starting that season. I think around the time I was getting prepped to make a video to basically start promoting it and everything, and right before, like a week, I think it was like a week or two right before we were getting the news of, okay, it's going to be popping up now, we instead got the news that, oh, the game's going to be shut down and everything, and people were celebrating, saying, oh, see, this game was not the COD killer or something like that. And then ironically enough, a month after that, pretty much Call of Duty just pretty much did it themselves. But I wasn't even focused on Call of Duty. I was mostly focused on advertising the game, and that's pretty much where the biggest fumble of the game was they didn't have a advertising budget to begin with. They pretty much were just You know, they were relying on big content creators like Nero Cinema, Blame Truth. You know, basically their only advertisement was word of mouth, Twitch streams, and the occasional videos here and there. I can tell you right now, I never even saw any ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, nothing regarding XDefiant yet. For some reason, I did see plenty of ads for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've seen some for Rainbow Six Siege. All the other Ubisoft properties were getting ads, but not once did I see a single one for XDefiant. So without even a small bit of word of mouth, yeah, the game was going to fail. Doesn't matter how many people, you know, try to like make videos to make this game look fun. Realistically, all it takes is one ad to catch the attention, and then from there the word of mouth would just start spreading. Because like I said, you got to get the game out first, and without proper advertisement, you know, even if a channel with 3 million subscribers that makes a video, who's to say only like maybe a handful of them actually see the video? They're not going to know what XDefiant is. So, you know, they're probably just going to ignore the whatever the person is saying about the game. Oh yeah, this game is really good, check it out. But they don't know what an XDefiant is, so they're probably not even going to be paying attention. Meanwhile, you know, you get an ad and it'll just be right there in your face, so it's easy, you know, it's just there in your face basically, where, you know, you're changing channels, you're watching a video, you're scrolling, and it just pops up in your face, and that's how it gets your attention, and you're like, oh, it's free to play, maybe I'll give it a shot. Compare that. But I can tell you right now, I never really saw any of those. So that's pretty much, like I said, that's the thing too. Even Mark Rubin himself said it, that they did everything they could to make the game as polished as possible. But at the end of the day, they didn't have a budgeting and advertisement budget. So no one even knew the game even existed. And that's honestly sad considering all the hard work the devs were putting into the game. Yeah, when a game first came out, yes, it had like its netcode issues. It had, I think it had like lagging, hit registration, all these other issues. But this gameplay that you're seeing now is pretty much from last week. The game handles just fine. So they were getting to the point of polishing the game to where it was finally getting, you know, more stable. They just needed more time because, again, the game wasn't even meant to be ready just yet. It was rushed out and then built upon, and rushed out, built upon, no advertising budget. It honestly just seemed like this was just some random project. Like they got Mark Rubin on contract. They decided let him do his thing, and if it doesn't basically make us millions of dollars without us interfering into it whatsoever, then we'll just can it. That's what it felt like. Like they didn't even bother just to, you know, the higher ups at Ubisoft to basically put more effort into getting eyes on XDefiant. They were just like, oh, let's just let the game speak for itself or something. And that's not how that works. I mean, look at how people were basically talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and why? Because Ubisoft kept doing these little videos or these little ads of advertising the game, showing like, you know, cinematics and all this other stuff. But again, I not once saw one for XDefiant. And again, it sucks though, because like I said, I'll be playing this game, but it just sucks that within 6 days, once all this, anything that I play, and the funny thing is my favorite map is Noodleplex, but I haven't been able to get that map in rotation because it's mostly just been the DLC maps. You know, all the 12 extra maps, the other factions and whatnot. All of those have been the only ones I've been getting, and there are other maps. Hell, I would settle for Clubhouse. I have not seen that map in ages. I sometimes get Rockefeller. You know, there's just so many maps that are just in rotation that I'm never going to be able to play again after June 3rd. And it just sucks, you know. I'm hoping, and this is where I'm going to probably look into getting a PC. Maybe they'll pull a like Modern Warfare, you know, like those fan-made projects where they'll probably keep the game active for, you know, private servers and everything like that. That would be nice, because let's be real, Ubisoft is not going to be wasting any more money on consoles. Who knows, maybe if we're lucky, they'll toss us a bone and just be like, well, you know, there's no more updates with this game, but we'll keep the servers as is. They're not going to do that. They're just continuing to shoot themselves in the foot, because, you know, realistically, what are they actually doing? You know, they could have built on this game. They could have given this game the proper care it needed to actually be good. But their next plan is basically making a battle royale game that is similar or takes inspiration from Apex Legends. So they kind of lost me there where, if they do go through with that, I can tell you right now, no one's going to care. And realistically, nobody is really going to, be hyped for it. Again, I just feel like it's a bunch of people that are just out of touch with gaming, making gaming decisions. Because this could have been its own thing, similar to how Fortnite is the biggest battle royale game out there, but Apex Legends can still coexist, Warzone can still coexist. Like, there's other games that can coexist that aren't constantly competing with each other. I mean, right now, even though people are saying XDefiant's dead, what has come out in its place? What's it called? And I'm not saying like they're Call of Duty games; they're just like first-person shooters. So, even though XDefiant died, realistically, we still have Fragpunk and Splitgate 2 coming right out afterwards. Like I said, this game could have coexisted, but it really they just did not get the proper care or whatever that they needed. And it's just like one of the things I'm going to keep repeating over and over in this video, because that's really all I can say is the devs poured their heart and soul basically making a first-person shooter using an engine that was meant for third person. It was the Division. It was, I think, the same engine that they were using for the Division. And the Division is a third person extraction or third person. I don't know. It's an RPG kind of thing, but that's basically what they were doing. They used an engine that was uncompatible for first person, did what they could with it, tweaked it as best as I could, and came out with this game. It was rough at first, but by season 2, because the big problems were like season 0 and season 1. But, after that, season 2 and 3, and we never got to 3 basically. Around season 2, it became so stable, like really good. And then, we eventually got to, what's it called? We didn't even get a chance to celebrate season 3. Season 3 was going to be the Assassin's Creed faction. But by that point, right before I even announced, they even had the trailer ready. That's how badly they got screwed over. They had the trailer already set up, ready to advertise the game. Like, basically say, this is what's going to happen. This is the Assassin's Creed. Like, it's the same way the Highwayman was when they introduced the Highwayman, and then they played the little Battle Pass trailer. They had all the advertisement, well, YouTube video wise at least. They had all that ready. But unfortunately, before they even got a chance, because like I said, all the Ubisoft had to do before, like, they didn't even give them a chance. They should have just gave season 3 it's like make season 3 its final chance, and that's it, because that would have given them 3 months. Black Ops 6 was already dying and people were leaving in droves by January. So, it would have looked rough in December when people were just basically buying Call of Duty for Christmas and everything. And I know the Ubisoft devs would have been sweating. But then by January, it would have started, evening out. We would have started getting videos of people saying how sick they are of Black Ops 6. And then towards the end of season 3 is when people would have probably started giving this game more of a shot. But, that's probably just a big fantasy, a huge what if in this whole scenario is we'll never really know how this game could have popped off because Ubisoft just never really gave them a chance. Anyways, that was a bit of a long rant. Like I said, I just needed to kind of get that out there, as well as show off this gameplay. There's a lot I could have said, but moving forward, I will be uploading just my, matches from my Twitch stream. Again, twitch.tv/dubaderp. You can also join my Discord, and that's usually the better way to find out when I go live, as that's usually, I have like little roles, and some of them are the Twitch roles, so you can actually see when I go live instead of like just following me and guessing, because my timing, my schedule, now that's pretty messed up. So sometimes I'll get a headache, sometimes I'll fall asleep. Other times I'm just walking my dog and I don't stream right away. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your opinions are about this whole XDefiant shutdown. Again, June 3rd is the last day, so play while you can. And yeah, till next time, see you later, everyone.